So folks, we of course are live at APT, Facebook APT Live, and also twitch.tv/LCAPoker. Of course, any questions, let us know who you're cheering for at home. We come back to the action here. Sam Adams on the button with Queen 9-0. Gets out of the way. Cooper, here's a hand.
Now, this is one that we are not going to be falling for 10 bigs. And Cooper, interestingly, elects to slow play this one.
Wow.
Now, I think we should just be going for it.
This is just a rip.
Yep, we want to play high variance poker at this point. We need to spin it up and get even.
Okay, so he rips. Kalen now with 10-9. Where are we at there?
Oh, look, Kalen doesn't have any reason to call Cooper off light.
Nope.
The longer Cooper lives with a short stack, the better it is for Kalen.
That's exactly right.
And you see, the interesting thing is, should Kalen bust Cooper, that's not that great for him. Now he has to play heads up against Sam with about a 2.5 to 1 chip advantage. Maybe slightly less, actually, just over 2 to 1. And if Cooper's to double up, then that actually can alleviate a little bit of the pressure from Sam also, because now Cooper isn't just about to bust. He's not immediately on the chopping block anymore.
That's right.
Still, it would still be a tough chip distribution for Sam to deal with, but
oh, wow.
a little bit easier.
Check, check, flop on the paired 10 for Kalen. Cooper checks, and Kalen's just asked for the triangle.
And this is interesting, Tom. I don't know what's going on here. I don't think Kalen needed to go for this, but perhaps he thinks Cooper is just going to. He expects Cooper to be making hero calls here, and that's what this would be. And honestly, Tom, it does make sense. Kalen can just put maximum pressure on here to Cooper, and Kalen knows that Cooper knows that. And so maybe he thinks he can try to induce a super light call from Cooper by taking this unconventional line. Yeah,
that's really what's happened here. We've gone for the absolute overbet rip and just trying to get hero called and thinking our 10s are going to be enough to get our way through.
And interestingly enough, Cooper is considering the hero call. So I'm assuming that that's what Kalen's thought process is.
Okay, there's a lot to watch going on here now. So this is Cooper looking for any reason to be right. So he's going to be staring down Kalen. He's going to be trying to make sense of this hand. He's going to be trying to figure out, is there any possibility my ace-jack is good enough to be right here? And is this hero time to put on a cape?
And it's also tough with this hand. Cooper's obviously trapping pre-flop.
Yep.
He's not showed any strength on the flop, so he has, in a sense, underrepresented the strength of his hand.
Correct.
However, he's gotten to the turn with just a gut shot here. The ace-jack's not such a strong hand anymore.
No.
Pre-flop, this was an absolute premium. But all of a sudden, it's just a weak bluff catcher.
Yeah. And look at Kalen's body language here. I love this. Kalen has found his spot on the felt, and his eyes are not going to move.
Yeah, you can see the experience showing here in Kalen's posture. He's just stoned. You are not going to get anything off of Kalen.
It's even good breathing control. This is
100%.
Comfortability. So what we're looking for is any signs of hyper-adrenal responses. We're looking for breathing, shoulder raises, pulsing necklines, twitching eyes, twitching arms, stare downs, and he's going to give you nothing.
And Kalen is just sitting there, chilling out. He's made his play, and he'll let the chips do the talking.
Yep. I think what he's trying to do is work out exactly what the Pantone shade is on the A in the Australian Poker Tour, but he's found his focus spot, and that is it. Nothing. Nothing from the hands, nothing from the shoulders, nothing from the eyes. It's no help to Cooper. He looks in pain.
Yeah, I mean, this is a filthy spot for Cooper.
This is where you just want to will this hand to be right. Will.
Yeah, that's it. And if Cooper is to make the fold here, he's sitting on that 8 big blind mark. We're playing a big blind anti-structure, so that 8 big blinds does not last long.
It really doesn't.
That's 3 orbits worth of blinds.
And that's certainly impacting his decision, as is his praying for a black queen river.
Now that would be a pretty sexy way to take it down. Call, be wrong, bang it off anyway. But Cooper will be calling, hoping to have the best hand if he is to make this call. He's really giving this some thought. spent quite some time in the tank now. Cooper considering every little bit of information available to him here.
He's just been given no extra. Those cards haven't changed. Sam, conversely, fairly happy with what's going on.
Yeah, and Sam, fortunately, doesn't need to put any effort into hiding tells. He just gets to sit back and watch Cooper in pain.
Yeah.
And while Sam Adams is a nice guy and has nothing against Cooper personally, seeing Cooper in a bit of pain will be pleasing to Sam in this particular situation.
I'm sure that will be a very pleasing scenario indeed. Oh, it hurts.
Yeah,
it hurts.
You can see.
This is why we love live poker.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You have guys sitting down playing cards with a resting heart rate at 120 beats per minute with adrenal responses that shouldn't be happening unless they're sports stars. Oh, he reaches for the chips. And in it goes.
Kalen quickly turns over the 10.
That's not what he wanted to see.
And I think at this point, Kalen was very confident that he had the best
Yeah.
hand. After the first 30 seconds or so, he was very confident. But you wouldn't have known by looking at him, Tom.
9 outs to Judge. He still wins this one. What?
0% of the time now.
0% of the time he wins this.
Cooper is going to be eliminated in
Wow.
third for a juicy $22,000 payday.
$22,000.
It's a pretty good consolation prize, but you just know that 46 up top and the Player of the Year implications are going to be playing on Cooper's mind. This is going to be a bit of a tough beat to take.
Yeah, that one's going to take some walk off. $22,000 will certainly have some consolation. It definitely affirms his position right up into second.
Yeah, he's going to be sitting very comfortably in that top 2 spot now.
But unless anything absolutely mind-blowing happens, Sam is now really locking up his position.
Yeah, that's it.
These two are going to need to have another really deep run this series if that Player of the Year race is going to change hands now.
And it's so brutal for Cooper, for him to get third place in the Goliath and for it to not improve his standings compared to the
I just
leader.
got third in the second highest buy-in event at the Australian Poker Tour, and the guy I'm trying to beat just happens to come along for the ride and is a minimum to get second now.
Yeah, it's insane. This is tournament poker and tournament series in a nutshell. There's some brutal stuff that goes on, Tom.
Just absolutely amazing. Well, unfortunately, Corey, it does mean that Cooper will not be winning this tournament with King 6. Your prediction is incorrect this time. However, you were about to go and hit the felt.
That's it. Let's see what
nothing
I can...
but correct decisions, correct predictions, and a big old bagger.
See what I can put together with the King 6 of my own, Tom.
Oh, wow. Do you leave? Look at the action. When do you leave? Obviously, you do need to hit the felt, though, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but let's just see if Kalen can peel off the Jack of Clubs here for the really disguised monster hand.
Just for an absolute stone cold. 20k pre from Kalen. Sam just checks back. Kalen now leads for 60,000. Top pair for Sam.
Yeah, and Sam with a monster hand here heads up, and Kalen with a monster draw here for any situation, not only heads up.
There's just so many cards.
11 outs, and almost all of them to the nuts or near nuts.
Let's add some more.
And now he does pick up that pair, adds another 5 2-pair outs to the arsenal of rivers that he could potentially take this one down.
Now, there is no way this ends our tournament.
I mean, we are so deep, Tom. There's so many chips in play, and it's just a credit to the Goliath structure. Even now that we're down to heads up, we're still playing poker. Kalen putting in the 90k bet there. Relatively small size. He could be sizing up on this particular turn, but given his specific hand, the small sizing does actually work very well, trying to induce calls from hands like a pair of 9s or a pair of 4s or perhaps a small pocket pair.
Even the 2-pair here is super fun.
Yeah, that's it. And Sam, with the board pair on the river, will be pretty confident with his hand. Kalen, not super likely to take this line with just a 4. And Kalen, with his showdown value, will elect to check back. Sam's going to take that one down with the King 7. Now, Tom, on that note, I need to love and leave you all.
You'll be here for the evening, I think.
And, I mean, that's it. If I see another hand, I'm sure it's going to be too exciting for me to leave.
Far too kind. We wish you all the very best of luck, Corey. We'll no doubt be hearing from you with a massive bag. Folks, if you've got the opportunity, of course, get on down. Eaton's Hill Hotel for the APT Series 4 Grand Final. You'll all be playing for second prize because Corey will be taking out first.
Exactly right.
But second prize is still a lot of chips, a lot of cash.
Oh, yeah.
And what a lot of fun you'll have along the way.
I mean, it'll be a great heads-up battle, I'm sure.
Thank you so much. We'll see you later on.
Oh, sorry. Who's there?
Alright, so we've got 6 players there. Corey, who do you reckon is the favourite to take it out?
Now, look, usually I'd be pretty hesitant to pick either the bigger stack because it seems like it's a little bit too easy.
Yeah.
And also a bit hesitant to pick the short stack. But
Sure.
after that first hand double, I feel like I've got to go for my fellow Corey,
Really?
Mr. Kempson here. He's going
The
to be my
shorty.
pick to take this one out.
He's got 19 bigs, mate.
I mean, I'm a believer.
Alright. And you just can't leave him if you tried, right?
I mean, yeah, that's it.
Fair enough.
us Corys know a thing or two about winning coin flips, so I've got faith. I've got faith.
All right. Well, I'm sure with one more double, he'll be up around the 40 big blind mark, and he will be a menace at this table.
First up.
Jordan, if you had to pick someone, give us your guess.
I'm probably. I mean, now that Corey does have the double, he's definitely a name that you probably can't really think past. But I'm going to stick with my call from yesterday, and I'm going to say that Damon is probably going to have a pretty deep run. I know there's a lot of folks up in Cairns that are probably going to be supporting him and looking forward to him having a deep run. So, yeah, I mean, fingers crossed he manages to pull that one out.
Seems like a good pick.
Oh,
and
just like that, he's in trouble.
Big Schnitty's got himself into a spot here. Open up the jacks. Round to Anthony in the small blind here. He is the table chip leader. Might not get as much credit as some of the other players would, given that he has this big stack.
Yeah.
I assume he'll be putting in the re-raise here.
What do you reckon about it, like 270?
So the raise is up to 85. Something like 270, 280 seems like a pretty,
Well,
pretty
looks
good
like he
size
goes
to
a
go
bit
from out of
bigger.
position.
Looks like he goes about 320.
Yeah, not unreasonable, given he is
Oh, even bigger,
out of position in the
340.
hand.
Wow, he just funds the pure 4x.
And this really maximises the pressure onto Damon's stack here. He is pretty well in the middle of the pack. A lot of the guys are sitting on similar stack sizes here. So I wonder if...
I actually think that in this spot, Damon's actually 5th. So I'm pretty sure the only person shorter than him is Corey. And in his spot, this is something that you need to be really careful about in an ICM situation, because with a player shorter than you, yeah, he does fold.
Geez,
with a player shorter than you, this spot, like, if you run it against the chip leader and bust, and you miss out on a 4.5k pay jump, it's actually pretty tragic. So he's probably just going to kind of hold on to the chips that he has. Granted that he's currently, as you can see on screen, the only player with more chips than Corey. So interesting decision. Some might call it a bit tight, but I definitely don't fault it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to judge from the booth here. We're talking some pretty big money here.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I think this is one of the spots we've got to keep our eye on that prize and and maybe be willing to rumble a little bit. But again, we're sitting in here and they're sitting out there playing.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
big bucks.
I mean, it also depends. I mean, if Damon and Anthony played a lot yesterday, maybe Damon has some info that we don't know about as well, but I guess we're just going to have to see.
For sure, and that's always something we've got to keep in mind, both us in the booth and you guys in the chat as well.
Yeah.
There's always going to be dynamics in poker that you can only really know if you're sitting at the table. We're never going to be privy to all the information, and so it's just something to keep in mind.
And just like, oh, we got another all-in call. Darren finds the jam against Corey. Deuces versus King Queen suited.
So this is for about 20 big blinds.
Yep, and I know for a fact that Corey and Darren played a lot with each other yesterday, so I think they've probably got each other sized up. It's a pretty standard spot. And just like that, Ace, Queen, Jack. As long as there's no deuce, Corey will find another double.
Yeah, and there we find the insignificant spade draw, but the improvement to a straight on the river. And all of a sudden,
he's got 40 bigs.
Right back in the mix.
And just like that, Darren is our new short stack.
Jordan, we're about 15 minutes
700
into play today.
If that.
And Corey has already quadrupled his stack from the start of the day.
It's a pretty easy game, right?
I mean, yeah, I did say thus Corey's know a thing or two about coin flips.